Greetings to all. In this video, we are going to discuss about tests to be conducted on three-phase induction motor, in which we are going to discuss about two types of testing. One is direct loading and second one is indirect loading test. These two tests are required to obtain performance characteristics of a three-phase induction motor. We can go with direct loading test only for small machine. So it means the power rating up to 5 HP, we used to call that as a low power rating, and this will come under the category of small machine. So for this category of induction motor, we can do load test directly to obtain performance characteristics. Whereas second type of test, that is indirect loading test, is best suitable for larger machine, especially at the time of manufacturing. So a larger machine, in the sense the power rating may be greater than 5 HP, and for this category of induction motor we can perform both no load and blocked rotor test for obtaining performance characteristics. The reason for choosing indirect loading test, especially at the time of manufacturing an induction motor while comparing with direct loading test, is we can avoid high power loss in the machine. So if you go with direct loading for larger machine, we know the amount of current required will be more. So if there is high power flow into the machine, it leads to high copper loss on both stator as well as on the rotor. So on the whole, we can say there will be high power loss in the machine, that too at the time of manufacturing. So to avoid such high power loss, we are choosing indirect loading test at the time of manufacturing a larger machine. So now we'll start with the very first test, that is direct loading test, load test, and we know it is suitable only for small machine. The purpose is to compute complete performances of an induction motor. We are going with the load test. So starting from the torque developed and the mechanical power developed on the rotor, the value of the slip efficiency of the motor, rotor efficiency and input power factor, everything related to the operation of an induction motor we can obtain by conducting load test. And while doing such load test on induction motor, we have to operate a motor only at rated voltage and frequency. Remember, we have to operate only at rated voltage and frequency. And what is meant by direct loading? It's nothing but the mechanical coupling between shaft of an induction motor with a mechanical load. So this symbol indicates the direct mechanical coupling between a shaft of an induction motor and mechanical load. So mechanical load is a combination of brake drum along with a belt, and this belt is having a two pulley, and this pulley is going to have a measurement of a weight being applied on the motor. So this mechanical arrangement of mechanical load with the shaft we are calling as a direct loading. So now we'll see the circuit arrangement for conducting load test on a three-phase induction motor. In this picture we can see the direct coupling of mechanical load with the shaft of an induction motor. So in front view of an induction motor, we can see at the center of the induction motor there will be a shaft, and top of the shaft there will be a rotor assembly, and next to the rotor there will be an air gap, and top of the air gap we can see the stator assembly. In stator we used to have a three-phase distributed field winding, and those field winding terminals are available at terminal box kept at stator frame. So there we are going to have a connection with supply main terminals. So here L1, L2, L3 are indicating the supply main terminals, and here in this picture we can see the connection of these supply main terminals with the stator field winding terminals via auto transformer starter. And remember, we have to maintain rated voltage and frequency throughout the operation while performing this load test. And while performing the load test, we have to measure the amount of current entering into the machine, because load test is purely based on the value of the rated current. So we have to connect an ammeter for measuring the current entering into the machine. So we know ammeter have to be connected in series with any of the line, and for measuring the supply voltage we are going with a voltmeter, and we know the voltmeter should be in parallel between any of the lines. So here we are going with the measurement of line voltage, so we are having a voltmeter in between line 1 and line 2. And for measuring the total input entering into the machine, we can go with wattmeter. And we know in a three-phase AC circuit, for measuring three-phase power, instead of going with 3 wattmeters, we can go with 2 wattmeter method. And here we have employed such 2 wattmeter method for measuring the total power entering into the stator. So we can say this ammeter is going to give line current, or we can say it is going to have rated current measurement, and this voltmeter is going to give line voltage measurement. And this wattmeter, here we are having 2 wattmeter method, and we know the connection in wattmeter we used to have 2 coil, one is current coil and another one is voltage coil. So we can expect both series as well as parallel connection in the wattmeter. And this wattmeter, these 2 wattmeters is going to give a 3-phase power. So the power entering into the machine, we can call this as a total input power, PN. It is also known as the stator power. It's nothing but the summation of both wattmeter readings, W1 plus W2. So this is the total power entering into the machine. So simply we used to call this as the input power. And before giving a connection, that is giving a supply to a field winding, we have to ensure the no load condition on the mechanical load. That means we have to ensure no load on the shaft of a induction motor. So no load is nothing but we know in mechanical load we used to have a brake drum along with the belt. In belt we used to have 2 pulley. This pulley is going to have an indication of the weight giving to the shaft of an induction motor. So simply by having a deflection at 0 on 2 pulleys, that is a spring balance, we can ensure the no load condition in an induction motor. That means we are going to have a gap between brake drum and belt. So this is going to ensure the no load condition. So after checking this no load condition, we have to give a supply to the stator field winding terminals via starter. So we can say we are just starting the machine at no load condition, and we are going to operate the machine until it reaches a full load current. So full load is nothing but it indicating the rated current value. So we can check this rated current on the nameplate details, what we can see on the top of stator frame. So say for example, if you are having a current rating as 7 amps, so the full load rating will be the 7 amps. So we have to operate the machine until this ammeter going to read 7 ampere. So this is nothing but the full load current. This is also called rated current and also a full load current. So we are operating the machine starting from no load till it reaches a rated current, that is a full load condition. So we are going to gradually increase the load from no load until it reaches 7 ampere. So that's the procedure. So while doing such thing, we may expect that the current at no load, the current at starting will be 0. We can expect the current reading in an ammeter will show 0, and at full load the current that ammeter is going to show 7 amps. But practically it's not possible, especially at no load condition, because in no load also there will be a flow of current, because we used to get a flux creation in the machine and we have to compensate for the constant losses. So for that there will be a flow of current even though we are not having any load in an induction motor. So we can expect 20 to 30% of load at starting. So we used to call this as a no load current INA. So starting from 20 to 30 percentage of 7 ampere until it reaches 7 ampere, we can give a loading step by step to a induction motor. So this is the first step about ammeter reading, and we know we have to maintain rated voltage and frequency. So we can expect the same voltage starting from no load till it reaches full load. So this no change on the voltmeter reading. And while coming to the wattmeter reading, here we are using 2 wattmeter method, and we know in wattmeter, especially in 2 wattmeter method, it is going to have a deflection based on the power factor. So here we are having an induction motor, and we know the power factor of an induction motor is very low at the time of no load. So the range of the power factor is from 0 to 1, and we cannot expect 0 power factor and also unity power factor in an induction motor. So if it is purely inductive, we can expect 0 power factor, or if it is purely resistive, we can expect unity power factor. But both these cases are not possible in the case of induction motor, even though it is highly inductive, but it is not pure inductive. So we cannot expect 0 power factor in an induction motor. So the power factor range is from 0.1 to 0.9. And in no load condition, the value of power factor will be less than 0.5. So between 0.1 and 0.5 we can expect at the time of no load condition. So this is operation 1. So for indicating such low power factor, this 2 wattmeter method, one of the wattmeters is going to have a negative deflection. One wattmeter will have positive, and another one wattmeter will going to have a negative deflection. So we know the deflection, that is scaling on the wattmeter. So here in wattmeter will be having a deflection, the scaling, and we will be expecting a clockwise deflection in the wattmeter. So one of the wattmeter will show the clockwise deflection, that is positive deflection, and whereas another wattmeter will have a negative deflection. It means next to 0. Beyond 0, the deflection will be pointing. So for reading that negative wattmeter reading, we are going to change the direction of the current entering into the wattmeter. Either we can change the terminals of the current coil or voltage coil, but here we are going to interchange the terminals of the current coil. By interchanging the terminals of the current coil in any one of the wattmeter, to be more precise, W2 is going to have a negative deflection. So in order to read the negative wattmeter, so we cannot read the negative deflection. So in order to have a value, we are just going to interchange the terminals, and after interchanging the terminals, here we can have a deflection on the positive direction. But remember, even though we are having a calculation for input power as W1 plus W2 at no load condition, now we have interchanged the terminals of wattmeter 2. So the formula will be W1 plus minus of W2, because this minus sign indicating the terminals interchanged in the wattmeter 2. So this is going to be the total power at no load condition. And after giving some load to a machine, so starting from no load, we are just going to start giving a loading to a machine. So we can say from 0 load, now we are moving on to a 1-step load. And next to a 0 load, here in 0 load we are having a negative deflection in W2. Here we are having a low power factor, we can say less than 0.5. So now we are just started to give loading to an induction motor, and now again this wattmeter will give a negative deflection. Again it is going to give a negative deflection. So what we have to do is, again we have to turn off the supply, and again we have to interchange the terminals like what we have given already, and again we have to start doing the experiment. So again re-interchanging the terminals what we had as earlier, we can have a positive deflection. So that time this wattmeter is going to read a zero power. So the deflection is going to be at a zero value. So for reading the negative value, we have interchanged the current coil terminals, and again for giving a loading to a motor, again this is going to have a negative deflection. So in order to make a positive deflection, again we are bringing the connection back to the original position. So we are re-interchanging the terminals of current coil in wattmeter 2. So again we are having a interchanging. So this is going to read zero value. So you can say at this junction the power factor of induction motor will be exactly 0.5. And for the second step of loading, so if you are going to increase the loading, we can expect a positive deflection. So we can say this W2 is going to have a positive reading. So we can say the power factor will be more than 0.5. So until the current reaches 7 amps, we can give a loading. So we can say until it reaches a power factor less than 0.9, we can give a loading. So this is the concept behind the load test. So by doing so, we can obtain various parameters related to the operation of an induction motor. So starting from slip, torque, mechanical power developed, power factor, rotor speed, and for measuring the rotor speed we have to go with speedometer, that is tacho generator, and efficiency, everything we are having a mathematical expression. So by using those mathematical expressions we can obtain the value, and we are going to obtain the relation between efficiency, torque, slip, motor, power factor, everything with respect to the mechanical power developed. So we can say this as P0, that is output power. Okay, so this is going to indicate the performance characteristics of a three-phase induction motor. And these are all the formula for finding the parameters at the time of operating an induction motor. So this is the formula of slip, torque by taking the value of the diameter of the brake drum, and also the wattmeter reading, that is input power. We know the formula is W1 plus W2. And only at the time of no load we have to use the formula as W1 minus W2. So the total power is nothing but W. By using this we can obtain the value of the torque, and the output power we know it is a mechanical power. So we can, by using this 2 pi nt by 60, we can obtain P0. And this is the input power formula. And we know that power factor formula, it is we might have seen this power factor formula at the time of 2 wattmeter method. So simply by substituting the value of W1 and W2 starting from no load and first step of loading, and then further increase in the loading, we can see the power factor value. For no load it will be less than 0.5, and for very first step of load we can have exactly at 0.5, and later on it is going to be greater than 0.5 until it reaches 0.9. So that's the concept. And at last we can find the efficiency of the motor, and if we want we can find the efficiency of rotor 2. So up to this we have discussed about the types of tests available to be conducted on three-phase induction motor, in which we have discussed about load test on three-phase induction motor in detail, and especially we have to give concentration to to the wattmeter connection at the time of no load. We have to interchange the current coil terminals at the no load, and at the time of giving a load step by step to the induction motor, again we have to re-interchange the current coil terminals. So we have to keep that in mind while performing load test. And remember, we have to operate the machine only at rated voltage and frequency. It means the voltmeter reading will never change. It will remain at a constant value. So in next video, we'll discuss about indirect loading test, that is no load and block rotor test in detail. Thank you.